Hey gamers, how are you doing? In this video I'm going to talk about my favorite games for the Sega Genesis. Sega Genesis is my favorite console. That console made my childhood so much better. And are my favorite games. I'm not saying these are the best games on the system, but are the ones that I love the most. Okay gamers, let's start. After fighting games, platform games are maybe my favorite, and besides Sonic, Cool Spot was one of the few platform games that I play on the system. I remember to love the design of the character, and like the title said, he was cool. I remember the sound that he made when he got hit. It was so funny. I never bought this game. A friend of mine borrowed me his copy, and I played it until I finished. I was going to buy it, but I saw in the store a spot going to oddly use, and I bought that instead. Oh, what a mistake. Let's be honest, who didn't love Mortal Kombat in the 90s? The gameplay was not as good as Street Fighter, but the graphics, the blood, the fatalities, everything was new at the time. The story, the bosses as Kintaro and Shokan, the characters as Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Raiden, the stages. It was impossible not to like Mortal Kombat at the time. I love this game so much that I bought it again for my Genesis 32.
Fight! Outstanding. Finish him.
For those who didn't have Super Nintendo at the time, this was our Zelda. The fights were very good. Our character could jump with kick. We have a knife or a sword. It also have dungeons and caves, the bosses were huge, and we always need some strategy to win. It wasn't just button smash. And the game also have many platform elements. Sega made a very good sequel for the Sega Saturn, but unfortunately I didn't play it. Chaos Engine. I first played this game in Commodore Amiga with a friend, because I never had an Amiga. I went many times to that friend's house to play Amiga games, and he didn't have a Sega Genesis, and he would come to my house to play Sega Genesis games. Only a few years later, I played this game in the Genesis. This game was really hard. We take months to finish it. We could update our weapons, life bar, speed, but even after all the update, the game was still very hard. We always play in two-player mode and have lots of fun. I know, this is not one of the best Genesis games, but it was the first game I played in my life in this Spectrum. And I also played in the arcades. I still love the franchise, and it's a lot of fun to play in two-player mode. A heavy metal band called Dragon Force played the title theme in the song called Blackfire in the album Valley of the Damned. It sounds really good. Please, listen to the solo. This was an excellent port of one of the best arcade games in the 80s, and one of the first Capcom hits. This was before Final Fight, Street Fighter, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, Punisher. Capcom also have some good arcade games before Strider, like Gunsmoke, Sidearms, Commando, Legendary Winds, but nothing like Strider. Strider is one of the best arcade games ever. The music is outstanding, one of the best ever made. The gameplay, the bosses, everything in this game was absolutely flawless. This port was not as good as the arcade or the SNES version, but it was one of the first games I played in the system. Terry Borgert is still today my favorite fighting game character. I also love others, of course, like Hohamaru from Samurai Shodown, Ryu from Street Fighter, but Terry is different. Usually, all main characters from the fighting games are Ryu clones or Japanese fighters. Terry is from the US. He wears casual clothes and still today is SNK poster boy. We have Terry in Smash Bros, Fighting X Layer, and many more. The game was very good, and Fatal Fury is still today my favorite SNK franchise, along with Samurai Shodown and Metal Slug. I play so many times in my arcade machine, Fatal Fury Special, Fatal Fury Really About 2, Mark of the Wolves. Even my kid knows who Terry is, and we play together Kings of Fighters All-Star in the cell phone.
Okay.
Why the hell they didn't make Turrican 2 for the Genesis? Turrican is one of the best 2D franchises ever made. They made Mega Turrican, that was Turrican 3 and the Amiga, but never did the second one. This game has probably the best soundtrack ever, composed by the master Chris Uzbek. He was the music composer in all Turricans, including Super Turrican 1 and 2 for the Super Nintendo. Please listen to this. The Turrican franchise is magical. In my opinion, much better than any Contra game. I can explain this. You have to play it to see it. Golden Axe. What can I say about Golden Axe? Everybody knows this game. This was from the golden arcade years of Sega. This game is great to play with a friend in 2 player mode. We can choose between 3 characters, an Amazon, a barbarian, and a midget. A dwarf. The music also kicks ass. By this time, you already noticed that music is very important to me. I always say it, since I was a kid. Good music is always good music. Graphics, sooner or later, they always get outdated. Shoryuken, Hadouken, Sonic Boom, Tiger, Uppercut. These sounds make my childhood so good. I loved Street Fighter franchise. I even put my wife playing Street Fighter in our arcade machine. One time I was playing with Ryu, and she was playing with Chun-Li, and I won with a perfect. And in the end of the match, I said to break the ice, I love you, baby. And she said, I love you too. And then I said, baby, I was talking with Ryu. She was so mad. I had to make dinner that day. For me, Street Fighter is the best fighting game franchise. Street Fighter 2, 3, 4, 5, I love them all. The gameplay in these games are miles ahead of the competition. I bought four arcade sticks to play and to participate in tournaments in Street Fighter 4. I spent so many coins playing in Street Fighter 2 in the arcades. I said so many times when I listened to a 12 or 14 years old kid saying, I'm so afraid of losing my girlfriend, she's the love of my life. What the... When I was 12, I was afraid to jump to Sagat and lose my coin. He hit me so many times with that tiger uppercut. I still have nightmares about that.
USSR.
Shinobi Victory. This was very hard to choose because Revenge of Shinobi is also very good. I choose 3 over 2 because of the gameplay. Revenge of Shinobi also have a good gameplay, but in Shinobi 3 Joe have much more movability. He can jump to walls, also have a jump kick, but it was very close because Revenge of Shinobi have one of the best soundtracks in the Sega Genesis, made by none other than Yuzo Koshiro. Flashback. I love this game so much that I bought the limited edition for my Nintendo Switch. You have to think a lot to finish this game. That's why I also love the old Resident Evil games. Flashback is a hard game, but is one of the few games in the Genesis that had save points to make it a little easier. This game has everything: platform, strategy, action, and one of the best stories in the Genesis. The first and still today the best Sonic ever made. I also love Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, and Sonic CD. But the first Sonic for me was the best. The level design is great, the music is the best in any Sonic game. It's a shame that Sonic didn't make a good transition for 3D as Super Mario did. But at least we had Sonic Mania released a couple of years ago to remember the golden years of the franchise. Street of Rage 2. In my opinion, this is probably the best Sega Genesis game, and the best side-scroll beat'em up ever made. I play and finish Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, Punisher, Alien vs Predator, Warriors of Fate, Final Fight, Vendetta, and many more. But nothing can come close to Street of Rage. Street of Rage 1 and 3 are also very good games, but the gameplay in Street of Rage 2 is the best ever made. The music by Yuzo Koshiro is probably my favorite in any game after Turrican. The characters, the enemy, everything in this game is great. I don't care if you have 10 years old or 50 years old. It's impossible not to love Street of Rage 2. And that's it, gamers. I hope you like my video. Please tell me in the comments your favorite Genesis games. I promise to read and to respond. Please stay healthy, safety, and most important, be happy.